Spiritual Teaching 201. Love one Anther. 1. My people. The Spirit of Truth offers enlightenment to all spirits during this era. I want those who are witnessing my manifestation to meditate and to concentrate, because only then will they be able to comprehend my new divine message. I am inscribing this message in your spirit. It is the divine interpretation of the law that I gave to humanity since the first era. Also, it is the essence contained in the Book of Seven Seals, whose mystery I have now come to clarify by enlightening your spirit with my teachings. 2. Tomorrow, after you have understood my teaching, the struggle will begin. Although I will no longer manifest myself in this manner, you will feel my presence in your heart. 3. During the first era, God utilized Moses to inscribe the law on stone tablets. In the second era, the words of Jesus were inscribed with his blood in the human heart. Now, in the present era, I will inscribe my revelations in your spirit through divine inspiration. 4. If you become confused due to the imperfections of the human spokesman through whom I communicate, do not detain yourself for that reason. Remain calm, analyze my teachings, and continue your journey along my path, because I want you to discover the greatness and truth in my revelation. 5. This multitude who has witnessed my manifestation needs to be spiritually strong before it can arise to spread the good news throughout communities, villages, cities, and nations. Today, you are still like an innocent child, eagerly awaiting to begin to fulfill your mission, but who still does not know how to face the obstacles and the ordeals that you will find along your path. When you develop a strong faith and feel true love for your brethren, you will be able to triumph over obstacles and no longer focus on your own suffering, but on the suffering and pain of your brethren. 6. My teachings during this era have been extensive, because I want many individuals to have the opportunity to listen to my word. Thus, I will fulfill the promise I made in the second era that all sinners and non-sinners would be able to perceive me spiritually. I said those words to give you hope and confidence in the Lord. 7. It is my will that these teachings remain written, because they contain prophecies, announcements, and messages that humanity will need in the future. They need to remain written because human memory is not dependable. 8. I have come to illuminate the nation of spiritual Israel with my teachings. This nation, composed of men and women from all parts of the world, will be strong because of its spiritual enlightenment. This nation has the mission of restoring peace, justice, faith, and morality on earth. 9. It appears that humanity is now spiritually asleep, but you will be surprised when you observe how some nations will readily welcome and accept my new messengers. My messengers will be welcomed much like a flower opens its petals to welcome the sunlight. Those who are now listening to my word will form a part of God's nation. This nation will continue to grow until it spreads throughout the world. Your mission is to encourage humanity to eliminate its materialism, to teach humanity of spiritual communication with God, and to help your brethren to remain faithful during great ordeals. 10. The multitudes of today, who have listened to my teachings, represent only a small portion of the nation of God that will arise tomorrow. That nation must remain united and in harmony even when it confronts great and difficult ordeals. If it does not remain united, it will lose the battle and will no longer be guided by the star that has always guided it. It would become lost in an immense and lonely desert. If that were to occur, what testimony would it be able to offer to others about God? What type of example would it be able to set for others to follow? 11. My beloved disciples, be aware that if I chose to manifest myself through human spokesmen during this era, it was to help mankind. Therefore, those of you whom I am teaching and whom I love should not blemish my divine doctrine in any way. 12. Disciples, if you yearn to possess spiritual gifts, let love and the desire to help others be your motive. Do not seek to possess those gifts for your vanity or to feel more spiritually elevated than your brethren. Do not seek to make monetary profit through the use of spiritual gifts. Truly I tell you that a loving deed expects nothing in return. If it does, it is no longer a deed of love. Likewise, true charity expects nothing in return. This is why I tell you that if you yearn to possess spiritual gifts, let love always be your motive. 13. Whoever wants to follow me through this path needs to eliminate all selfishness and vanity from his heart. You will only be able to feel my love if your heart is pure. 14. When I observe that you are practicing a good deed or praying for a needy brethren, truly feeling his sorrow, my divine love will heal your brother, thus granting the miracle that you requested. 15. You will feel great joy witnessing the healing of your brother. However, if it is your mission to sow charity along your path, but instead utilize your spiritual gifts for selfish reasons and personal gain, you will lose the spiritual gifts given to you by the Father. Thus, you will be unable to offer anything to your brethren. Rather than sowing love and charity along your path, you would only be sowing vanity and selfishness. You would be deceiving your brethren as well as yourself. If you sow evil deeds, you will experience bitterness, lack spiritual peace, and feel discontent. You would no longer feel that the Divine Father is blessing and approving your deeds, nor would you be able to utilize your spiritual gifts to help your brethren. 16. If a person becomes healed, finds peace in his tormented life, or experiences a miracle, that person, who innocently trusted you to help him, will be healed by the compassion of the Divine Father. However, when that healing takes place, you attribute it to your prayers and to your spiritual gifts. You utilize that situation so that others will also place their trust in you. But my justice will touch you to detain you along that wrong path, allowing you to meditate on your evil deeds and to return to the right path. 17. Blessed are those who repent for their mistakes when they first experience my justice. They no longer choose to follow the wrong path and truly begin to correct their mistakes. They now realize that the material pleasures of earth can never be compared with the spiritual pleasures. Previously, they had disregarded the spiritual peace that one feels when practicing a good deed. They had preferred the praise and the monetary rewards that were offered to them by others. However, they now realize that practicing good deeds will help them to elevate spiritually, whereas praise and monetary rewards will hinder their spiritual elevation. 18. Everyone who is a worker in my fields should know that I have sent him to offer testimony of me. In order for his testimony to be truthful, it needs to be verified through his deeds of charity and through his loving words and thoughts. He must keep his heart pure so that I may manifest myself through him. 19. In the second era, I said, whoever knows the Son knows the Father. This meant that through the deeds of Jesus you would learn about the love that the Divine Father has for his children. I now say to you that I want all of humanity to know me through the deeds of my disciples. 20. When this multitude truly comprehends me, begins to practice my teachings of love, and embraces its cross lovingly, humanity will then begin to awaken from its spiritual sleep. Mankind will become aware of your deeds, convinced that this multitude is following the true path. Regardless of whether humanity refers to these teachings as a doctrine, a religion, or an ideology, nevertheless it will acknowledge that these teachings are truly a revelation from God. 21. Disciples, be aware of the mission that I have given you. Recognize the importance of your responsibility, and examine each of your deeds so that they will follow my doctrine of love. 22. In many societies, classes, and congregations, man uses the word brother to refer to one another. Although they call each other brother many times, they do not truly feel for each other as brothers should. 23. Truly I tell you that if you carefully study the meaning of that word, you will discover the fountain of life from where all beings were born. Also, you will comprehend my divine love. Once you comprehend the true meaning of that word, you will feel regret, realizing how distant you have become from one another. Although all beings are your brethren, you continue to hurt one another and are indifferent to people whom you refer to as strangers. 24. When I came to earth to live among humanity, I taught you that every being was your brother. Mary was my mother on earth, and I referred to all men as my brethren, teaching you to love one another. My entire doctrine was dedicated to teaching you that divine law. Only by fulfilling that law can you truly glorify and love the Divine Father. How can you love me without loving one another? Truly I tell you that it would be better to give to your brethren those things that you offer me, since the Father possesses everything, and your brethren lack many things. 25. Let the example set by Jesus become an inspiration in your life and in your deeds. Truly I tell you that by doing as Jesus did, you will be glorifying me and offering true evidence of your love. If humanity unites its spiritual gifts in order to elevate its existence on earth, it will feel my presence. Some will offer their wisdom to mankind, others their love, others charity, science, inspiration, and strength. Thus, a strong and united humanity will emerge on earth, as if it were only one being who was enlightened, great, virtuous, and therefore powerful. It is that being whom I have come to teach my doctrine of love. 26. The human heart has become hardened like stone, but man will be unable to resist the divine teachings. 27. I am announcing that a time of harmony will arrive among humanity. My prophets also announced this in the past. When that time arrives, all nations will practice brotherhood and will share their bread, strength, and knowledge with one another. Man will sow peace in those places where, today, there is only war and hatred. Man will become true doctors among humanity, because they will offer comfort to those who are ill. 28. Are you now aware that man has truly not lived as brethren on earth? Do you now understand why I told you in the second era that the most important mandate was to love one another? 29. I have not come during this era to eliminate that mandate, nor to substitute it with another one. That mandate is eternal and will never change. I have only come to explain the law of love, its true significance and what it means, which represents the wisdom of God. 30. When will humanity realize that only by fulfilling the law of love will mankind achieve the peace that it so much needs, the happiness that it lacks, and the well-being that it seeks? 31. I know that man is spiritually evolving, and that the time will come when everyone will finally open their eyes and perceive the truth. 32. Since I have taught you about love and brotherhood, I now want you to understand what it means to call another human being your brother. I also want you to truly feel that all beings are your brethren. 33. I am your loving Father who welcomes you. Although at times, few truly listen to me, I will not cease to manifest myself with love. 34. You are now receiving my spiritual enlightenment, and your doubts will disappear. 35. Those who follow me are few, and I observe that they are still weak. But behold that through my teachings they will become strong soldiers. They will be courageous, and although they might be weary and wounded when they reach the end of their journey, they will arrive with peace and brotherhood in their hearts. Their triumph will inspire many others to follow them. 36. Blessed is the one who becomes aware of his mission and fulfills it. For him to evolve, his spirit needs to have strong determination and willpower. If the spirit lacks these qualities, It will evolve slowly and will need to incarnate several times before it attains spiritual perfection. Man needs to become familiar with my teachings, which will guide him to attain that perfection. You should not rely only on intuition to guide you along my path. You also need the knowledge found in my teachings to continue along the path of evolution. You need to appreciate and to utilize the time and the opportunities that I have given you to evolve spiritually, so that you will no longer be spiritually dead. 37. A person can be physically alive but spiritually dead. Life should manifest itself first in the spirit, then in the flesh. Many beings have dwelt on earth, but only a few of them were spiritually alive. Those few have manifested their spiritual grace to humanity, a grace given to each being by the divine creator. 38. If man would follow his conscience and lead a pure life, he would be able to perceive his past, present, and future. 39. The spirit is similar to my secret art. It is a treasure with so much knowledge. It continually reveals manifestations that are at times so profound that man is unable to comprehend them. 40. That spark of the divine light that exists in every human is the bond that unites man with the spiritual, the hereafter, and with the divine Father. 41. If you carefully analyze life, you will realize that all things are related to the eternal life, a life that awaits you and that draws closer with each passing moment. 42. I need workers to sow and to cultivate the seed of love. They must have pure minds and be pure in heart, because many whom I endowed with spiritual gifts have abandoned me. They have become prodigal children. They were close to the Divine Father for only a brief period, but left to pursue material pleasures. However, my prophecy shall be fulfilled, and they will return to their Father. Along their path they will find my relentless justice. But when they return to me, they will discover, as always, a kind and loving Father. 43. Multitudes, arise, as messengers of this teaching, to take the good news to your brethren. Have faith in my word, and you will perform marvelous things. This enlightenment will awaken humanity from its sleep. 44. Follow the path step by step so that you will become familiar with it. My law follows a narrow path. You will continually struggle and battle along this path, and at times, you will drink from a very bitter chalice. However, you will also experience infinite joy when you feel the peace of God within your spirit. 45. I am walking ahead of you, tracing the path that you need to follow. Practice humility, and you will not stumble. If you ask where I am taking you, I will respond that I am guiding you to true spiritual joy. Who can become lost along his path if he carries the cross of love upon his shoulders? Do not think that I am asking you to dedicate every minute of your life to me. You have responsibilities on earth that you need to fulfill. You need to realize that those responsibilities are also sacred and that they are part of your spiritual destiny. 46. I only ask that you dedicate a brief spiritual prayer to me daily. In those moments that you devote to me, you need to momentarily forget about your daily concerns, so that you will truly come before my presence and feel my embrace and my peace. 47. Everyone has a different spiritual mission to fulfill. Some will not have to depart from where they now live, whereas others will need to travel to distant lands. Some will need to separate from their families to fulfill their mission, whereas others will fulfill it among their family. 48. Some believe that the Divine Master has presently come to assign some individuals a spiritual mission. However, they are greatly mistaken, because each spirit was given its mission from the time of its creation. Now, as in the past, I have come to remind you of the pact that your spirit made with the Father before it came to earth. 49. Embrace your mission with love, O disciples, thus enabling your brethren to follow my divine path. Be aware that you have everything that you need to sow my seed. You have all the gifts that you need, both spiritually and physically, to triumph in your battles and ordeals. 50. Allow your spirit to guide your body, and also allow your conscience to illuminate your path so that you will triumph over the low passions and sensuous desires of the flesh. Thus, your mission will be easy to fulfill. 51. Be aware that the spiritual seed that I have given each being will need to be returned in multiple forms. Thus, you need to effectively utilize the time that you now have to fulfill your mission. 52. Blessed is the individual who patiently accepts the suffering along his path, because at the end, that suffering will turn to joy. Have great faith and courage, thus you will not be afraid when others judge you. Instead, you should fear yourself, because if you spiritually weaken and follow the wrong path, it can lead to serious consequences. When one of your brethren, who is momentarily blinded by the negativity that covers the world, deceitfully hurts you, forgive him, and come to me, for I will heal your wound with my love. 53. Patiently carry the weight of your cross. Be aware that you have been sent to earth to fulfill your spiritual mission. This will help your spirit to elevate and to enter the kingdom of heaven. 54. If you fulfill your mission on earth, you will fulfill it in the hereafter. My peace be with you.